Our first celebrity in the spotlight tonight is the actor Paul Bradley.
Oh, right, yes, I'm a surgeon. At least that's what I trained for. I'm replacing one of the cardiothoracic surgeons here.
His subject is Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band. Next, the historian and presenter Dan Snow.
The Americans did adapt to this new way of fighting, but just as they were beginning to make some headway in this war, everything changed.
His subject, the 7 Years' War. Third, actor and comedian Peter Serafinowicz.
It's the Peter Serafinowicz Show!
Computer, please take away 2 random wrong answers.
His subject, Monty Python's Flying Circus. And finally, the quizmaster, William G. Stewart.
OK, Martin, let's play the People's Quiz. Question 1.
His subject, Lord Elgin and the Marbles. Hello, I'm John Humphreys and welcome to Celebrity Mastermind. When you're used to a script or an auto cue, the prospect of sitting out in that black chair with the spotlight on you and the clock ticking away is a pretty daunting one. But that is what 4 more celebrity contenders will be doing tonight when they'll be quizzed first on their specialist subject and then general knowledge. Their chosen charities will benefit from their efforts. So let's get on with it and let me ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name is?
Paul Bradley.
Your chosen charity?
The Children's Trust.
And your chosen subject?
Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band.
Captain Beefheart, etc. in 2 minutes, starting now. What was the full title given to the film that was never actually made, in which Don Van Vliet was to have played Captain Beefheart?
Captain Beefheart versus the Grunt People.
Yes, which future recording star with whom Beefheart had a love-hate relationship throughout his career did he meet at high school in Lancaster, California in 1956?
Frank Zappa.
Correct. In which city is the Blue Coat Gallery, where the first ever solo exhibition of Beefheart's art was staged while he was touring Britain in '72?
Liverpool.
Yes, what name did Beefheart give to the ex-Mothers of Invention guitarist Elliot Ingber when he joined the group in late '70?
Winged Eel Fingerling.
Correct. The sleeve of which album was arranged as an envelope addressed to Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band and was rubber-stamped 4th class mail?
Strictly Personal.
Correct. Which singer-songwriter who was the group's producer while they were recording at A&M also wrote their second single, Moonchild?
David Gates.
Correct. To which West German city was the group forced to fly when they were refused entry into Britain by immigration on the 18th of January '68?
Berlin.
Hanover. Which '72 album featured vocal backing from a female soul group called the Blackberries?
Clear Spot.
Correct, whose departure from the Magic Band caused the group to cancel their scheduled appearance at the '67 Monterey Pop Festival.
Rykuda.
Correct, the title of which Beatles song features prominently in the lyrics of Beatles' Bones and Smoking Stones on the Strictly Personal album.
Strawberry Fields Forever.
Correct, according to the bass guitarist Gary Marker, which song on the Safe as Milk album did Muddy Waters believe to be a copy of his song Rollin' and Tumblin'?
Give me that Heart Boy.
Sure enough, yes, I do. In July '75, Beefheart and the Magic Band, which he had reformed with some of the original members, played at which British rock festival?
Bickershaw.
Nebworth. On which instrument did Beefheart compose most of the songs on the album Trout Mask Replica, even though he couldn't play it very well?
Piano.
Correct. When the Magic Band and Beefheart parted company in '74, the band went on to work under what name?
Mallard.
Correct. What was the intended name of the double album that was eventually released as 2 albums, Mirror Man and Strictly Personal?
It Comes to You in a Plain Brown Wrapper.
It does. The song Ode Daleks on the Shiny Beast album was dedicated to which former Magic Band guitarist?
Jeff Cotton.
Alex and Claire. Which track on Trout... I've started, so I'll finish. Which track on Trout Mask Replica closes with Beefheart singing a tongue-in-cheek version of the gospel song Old Time Religion?
Moonlight on Vermont.
Moonlight on Vermont it was. No passes. Paul Bradley, 13 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Dan Snow.
Your chosen charity?
Magic Bus India.
And your chosen subject?
7 Years' War.
The 7 Years' War in 2 minutes. In which month of 1756 did Great Britain formally declare war on France?
May.
Yes. Which German kingdom entered the war on the British side when its troops crossed into Saxony
Prussia.
in August 1756?
Prussia.
Correct, in which fort were about 65 Europeans locked up overnight in a jail cell, many of them dying in the incident that became known as the Black Hole of Calcutta.
Fort William.
Correct. Which British Major General was killed at the First Battle of the Plains of Abraham in September 1759?
Wolfe.
Yes. What name was given to the tactic famously employed by Frederick II of Prussia in his victory over the Austrians at Leuthen in December 1757?
Oblique.
Yes. Which Scottish regiment lost over half its men in the unsuccessful assault on Fort Carillon in July 1758?
78th.
42nd, Black Watch. Which name from the Urdu for horseman was given to the native Indian troops who fought for both sides during the conflict in the subcontinent?
Pass.
Who was replaced by the Duc de Broglie as Commander-in-Chief of the French Army after leading them to defeat at Minden on the 1st of August 1759?
Pass.
Which Asian capital did the British capture from the Spanish in October 1762?
Manila.
Yes. What was the name of Frederick II's brother-in-law who was put in command of the Allied army in Europe in 1757?
Prince Ferdinand of Brunswick.
Yes. Which city, the last major French stronghold in India, surrendered to the British on the 15th of January 1761?
Pondicherry.
Correct. Which British admiral was court-martialed and shot for neglect of duty after failing to lift the siege of Port Mahon, Minorca, in May 1756?
Admiral Byng.
Yes. Austria's desire to regain which province ceded to Prussia by the 1748 Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle was one of the main causes of the war in Europe?
Silesia.
Yes. Which treaties of 1756 and 57 established and secured the alliance of France, Austria and Russia against Britain and Prussia?
Versailles.
Yes. How was Fort Carillon renamed after it was captured by the British in July 1759?
Ticonderoga.
Correct. Who succeeded Elizabeth in 1762 as the ruler of Russia, then signed the Treaty of St. Petersburg, ending the war with Prussia?
Peter.
Peter III is correct. You had two passes. It was de Conchades, who was replaced by the Duke de Broglie, and Sepoys was the name for horseman, the Urdu name. Two passes. Dan Snow, 13 points. And our next contender, please. And your name?
Peter Serafinowicz.
Your chosen charity?
Noah's Ark Children's Hospice.
And your chosen subject?
Monty Python's Flying Circus.
Monty Python's Flying Circus in 2 minutes. Which comedian and writer who died in 2002 is often credited with bringing the Monty Python team together in
Barry
'69 while he was working for the BBC?
Barry Took.
Correct. What single word does Michael Palin's bearded character say at the beginning of the very first and many subsequent episodes?
It's.
Yes. In the chemist sketch in Series 2, the customer, played by Eric Idle, asks for aftershave that smells of what?
Halibut.
Yes. What is the name of the gang of violent old ladies who rampage through Bolton, sometimes on motorbikes?
Hell's Grannies.
Yes, who is the winner of the 127th Upper Class Twit of the Year show, narrowly beating Vivian Smith of Kensington?
Gervais. I can't remember.
Which of the Pythons appears at the beginning of the Series 3 shows naked and playing an electric organ?
Terry Jones.
Correct. Which television presenter and interviewer is depicted in a spoof of this programme on an island where there are just too many of him?
Alan Wicker.
Correct. In the first series, Mr. Anchovy, the accountant, tells his vocational guidance counsellor that he wants to be a lion tamer. Which animal has he confused lions with?
Anteater.
Correct. Which unexpected trio try to get to the Old Bailey before the credits finish, but are cut off by a caption saying the end when they get there?
The Spanish Inquisition.
Yes, in the Lumberjack song, which words follow the lines, I cut down trees, I skip and jump, I like to press wild flowers?
I wish I'd been a girlie.
Not quite. I put on women's clothing and hang around in bars. Which of the Pythons was responsible for the show's surreal animations?
Terry Gilliam.
Yes, in the Dead Parrot sketch, what does John Cleese's character say was the only reason why the parrot had been sitting on his perch in the first place?
It's been nailed there.
Yes, what's the name of the music by Sousa? There's the show's theme tune.
Liberty Bell.
Yes, in the cheese shop sketch, the shopkeeper claims that he does have one type of cheese, but it's a bit runny, then says the cat's eaten it. What type of cheese was it?
Camembert.
Yes, what's the family name of the men who occasionally appear on the show wearing gumboots, rolled-up trousers and knotted handkerchiefs?
Gumby.
Yes, one of Terry Gilliam's animations features a set of amazing dancing teeth. What's the name of the animated character they belong to?
Conrad Poos.
Correct. Which News at 10 presenter made a cameo appearance on the show, standing up to read the news while the national anthem's played because the Queen is watching?
Reginald Bosanquet.
Quite. What? I've started, so I'll finish. Just what products sold by Mr. Milton contain crunchy, raw, unboned, real dead frog, fresh cornice, ram's bladders and lark's vomit?
The Wizzo chocolate assortment.
Indeed it was. And what you couldn't quite remember, your one pass, the winner of the Twit of the Year thing, Gervais Brook Hamster. Of course, probably the honourable. One pass, Peter, you have 16 points.
Wow, great.
And our final contender, please. And your name.
William G. Stewart.
Your chosen charity.
Marie Curie Cancer Care.
And your chosen subject.
Lord Elgin and the Marbles.
Elgin and the Marbles in 2 minutes. What was the family surname of the 7th Earl of Elgin and the 11th Earl of Kincardine?
Bruce.
Yes. Which Scottish university did Elgin attend following his education at Harrow and Westminster?
St Andrews.
Correct. Elgin began his diplomatic career in 1791 as an envoy extraordinary in which city?
Vienna.
Yes. Which architect who designed Elgin's country house Broomhall first interested the Earl in the classical art and architecture of Athens?
Thomas Harrison.
Correct. Which event of June 1815 was partly responsible for postponing the House of Commons Select Committee's hearing on Elgin's petition regarding the marbles?
Battle of Waterloo.
Yes. What was the maiden name of the heiress whom Elgin married in 1799, later divorced after a sensational trial in which he charged her with adultery?
Mary Nisbet.
Yes. In which country was Elgin detained as a prisoner of war in 1803 and not released for 3 years?
France.
Correct. What government post was held by Charles Long when Elgin wrote to him in May 1811 offering his collection to the nation for £62,440?
Lord Chancellor.
Paymaster General, which collector notoriously dismissed the artefact saying, "You've lost your labour, my Lord Elgin, your marbles are overrated"?
Richard Knight.
Payne Knight, yes. What was the name of the regiment raised in 1794 commanded by Elgin?
Elgin Highland Tendency.
Correct. Which former actress, who was the Greek Minister of Culture, launched a high-profile campaign in the 1980s for the return of the Elgin marbles?
Melina Mercury.
Yes. In which celebrated poem, first published in 1812, did Lord Byron attack Elgin's removal of the marbles from the Parthenon, writing of "Thy walls defaced, thy mouldering shrines removed by British hands"?
Childe Harold's Pilgrimage.
Correct. What was the name of Elgin's brig that sank off Kaithera Harbour, carrying a consignment of marbles, leading to a lengthy and costly recovery programme?
Mentor.
Yes. From which London house were the marbles transferred to the British Museum in 1816?
Burlington House.
Yes. Which Italian painter and draftsman did Elgin hire to lead a team of artists, architects and moulders to work in Athens?
Giovanni Battista Lucieri.
Yes. In 1816, the impoverished Elgin was forced to accept which reduced figure of the marbles, it being the Select Committee's valuation?
£35,000.
Yes. In which museum did the Greek authorities intend to house the Elgin marbles if and when they're returned?
The New Acropolis Museum.
New Acropolis Museum it is. You had no passes. William, you have 16 points. So that's the end of the first round. Let's have a look at the scores. In joint third place, 13 points apiece, Paul and Dan. In joint first place, 16 points apiece, Peter and William. General knowledge now. So let's ask Paul to join us again, please. And I don't know whether this will offend you or not. Probably not, because you're an actor and you're not capable of being offended, are you? But you do tend to play, have played sort of lovable losers.
Yes, I'd like to think that's not me in real life.
No,
but,
quite so.
I'm having great fun on Holby. It's great.
Eh?
It's great being, coming up in the world in status terms. You know, being a surgeon. And I was driving home one night. There was an accident, and the police and ambulance were around there. And I thought, I better know. I think I'd look like I was doing it fantastically, but I wouldn't trust me.
No, I wouldn't much want you to operate on my nose. So is that your best part? I mean, are you enjoying this more than previous? Because I'm in EastEnders for a long time.
I had a great time in EastEnders. I was there for 5 years, and I left there about 10 years ago. And to some people, it's like it's 10 minutes, but to me, it's sort of like I've left it behind and moved on, and now I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon.
Right, you have 13 points with your knowledge of Captain Beefheart. Let's see how you do with general knowledge. 2 minutes, starting now. Which biblical giant appears in the first book of Samuel, chapter 17?
Samson.
Goliath. In which city is Antoni Gaudi's unfinished Church of the Sagrada Familia among the major tourist attractions?
Barcelona.
Yes. Which author's books include 31 songs about a boy and high fidelity?
Pass.
Which farmer's son who grew up in Panglas near Carnarvon made his operatic debut with the Welsh National Opera in 1990?
Aled Jones.
Bryn Terfel. The first Battle of Bull Run was the first major encounter of which conflict?
First World War.
No, it's American Civil War. Which world-famous Knightsbridge store was taken over by the Al-Fayed brothers after a long struggle with the Lonhro Group in 1985?
Harrods.
Yes. The flour of which cereal crop is greyish in colour and used in the close-textured black bread and pumpernickel?
Pass.
What is ethylene glycol used as in a car radiator?
It thins the petrol.
No, it's antifreeze. In the late 19th century, what objects did the police use to attract attention before the introduction of whistles?
A flag.
Rattles. Deep Purple were inspired to write which track when the Montreux Casino caught fire while they were doing a gig?
Smoke on the water.
Yes, in Roman legend, the cackling of which birds alerted the garrison on the Capitoline Hill to the presence of the invading Gauls in about 390 BC?
Ravens.
Geese. Which Irish rugby player, while captaining the British Lions in New Zealand in 2005, suffered a dislocated shoulder in the opening test of the series?
Brian O'Driscoll.
Yes. Which member of the weasel family that lives mainly in the northwestern Highlands of Scotland is one of Britain's rarest native mammals?
Ferret.
Pine Martin. Who played a successful but world-weary stand-up comedian called Rick Spleen in the television comedy series Lead Balloon?
Thingamabob.
Yeah.
Pass.
Which publishing magnate owned the yacht the Lady Ghislaine from which he mysteriously fell and drowned in 1991?
Maxwell.
Yes. Which actor returns to his musical roots in drag at a fat suit as Tracy's mother Edna in the 2007 film Hairspray?
John Travolta.
John Travolta is correct. You had 3 passes. Jack Dee played Rick Spleen. Rye is the flower. And Nick Hornby wrote 31 songs, etc. 3 passes. Paul Bradley, 19 points. And now, Dan, please. Does it bother you that you'll probably always be Peter's son? Well, I mean, you will always be Peter's son.
Yeah.
That's fairly obvious, but does it bother you at all that...
No, I'm very, very proud of it. It's brilliant. I've always thought there aren't that many father and son teams around, so I suppose there's got to be some modicum of something there that's worth putting on telly.
Yeah. Well, there is I was going to say there's a big difference. Of course there's a big difference between what you do on television now when you talk about and demonstrate history. Now you've got these computer graphics that show great armies and things. Is that cheating a bit?
No, I don't think it's cheating. I think it's exciting what technology can do. And I mean, for example, one thing that's great fun is reconstructions. I mean, archaeologists use computer reconstructions of buildings as part of their work. So why not use them on television and help explain, help bring that history to life? And I think it does help to bring it. I think it just helps to make it clearer. But of course, the minute you let it take over and get in the way of the facts, then it's rubbish.
Right, 13 points. And let's see how you do now with your general knowledge. 2 minutes, starting now. Which aircraft made its last round trip from London to New York in October 2003 before being retired from service?
Concorde.
Yes. Which Italian film director is often credited with the invention of the spaghetti western?
Pass.
At which sporting occasion are the Silver Goblets, the Grand Challenge Cup, and the Remenham Challenge Cup among the trophies competed for?
Henley Royal Regatta.
Yes. What did Jeremiah Coleman first produce at Stoke Holy Cross Watermill near Norwich in 1814?
Pass.
Which composer's last major work was the symphonic poem Tapiola, inspired by the ancient Finnish god of the forest Tapio?
Sibelius.
Yes. In which sport might a British champion be awarded a Lonsdale belt?
Boxing.
Yes. What is the surname of David and Ed, the first 2 brothers to be cabinet ministers since 1938?
Miliband.
Yes. In which mythology is the god Thoth credited with the invention of writing and the creation of languages?
Norse.
Egyptian. What items associated with Christmas were invented in the mid-19th century by the London confectioner Tom Smith as a development of his bonbons?
Pass.
Canaletto was famous for his paintings of which city where he was born in 1697?
Venice.
Correct. Which word can be added to road, air and trolley to describe uncontrollable outbursts of temper in various situations?
Rage.
Yes. Willie Loman is the leading character in which play by Arthur Miller?
Death of a Salesman.
Yes. Which broadcaster is the grandson of a celebrated psychoanalyst and was elected as the Liberal MP for Ely in 1973?
Freud.
Better give me his first name.
No idea.
Which annual show was founded by and is named after a former employee of the dog biscuit manufacturer James Spratt?
Crufts.
Yes. Operation Nest Egg was launched the day after VE Day to liberate which part of the British Isles from the Germans?
Channel Islands.
Yes. Which Irish comedian and presenter who hosts the television series Mock the Week has a degree in mathematical physics from the University College Dublin?
Pass.
Which warm, dry wind that blows in the Rockies takes its name from a Native American people who lived around the Columbia River in Oregon?
Pass.
What was the popular name of the club founded by Sir Francis Dashwood in the 18th century, whose members reputedly held orgies and satanic gatherings in the ruins of Medmenham Abbey, Buckinghamshire?
The Naughty Hellfire Club.
Ah, you're nearly there. What is the Hellfire Club?
Hellfire. I thought it was naughty.
We'll give you that.
Thank you very much.
Hellfire Club it is. Your passes, the warm, dry wind is the Chinook. Dara O'Brien is the Irish comedian. Christmas crackers is associated with Tom Smith. Mustard is what Jeremiah Coleman first produced, and Sergio Leone. And the Spaghetti westerns. 5 passes, down 24 points. And now, Peter, please. And you got fame and fortune, well, fame anyway, by going on the internet.
Yeah, me and my brother and my girlfriend, we made a couple of sketches that we stuck out on YouTube. They were just like short little 3-minute sketches. And 18 months later, it sort of led to me getting my own TV
So
show.
what, some frightfully important person in television saw it and said, here's the man.
It was a sort of more drawn out version
I
of
bet,
that, but yeah.
But more or less.
Yeah.
Monty Python must be one of the most successful television comedy programs there has ever been.
Yeah.
What was it about it?
It was very funny.
Yeah. Why?
And they broke rules that people even today don't break. There's one show where they don't have the opening credits for like 17 minutes in, you know? And even now, like, while I was boning up on it for this show, you know, and I saw a lot of stuff that I hadn't seen before, you know, but even stuff that I was really, really familiar with still makes me laugh and laugh.
Right. You've got 16 points with Monty Python's Flying Circus. Let's see how you do with general knowledge. 2 minutes starting now. Which musical is about the gang warfare in New York between the Jets and the Puerto Rican group the Sharks?
West Side Story.
Yes. Which fictional detective had a smarter brother called Mycroft?
Sherlock Holmes.
Yes. In ancient Greece, the period known as an Olympiad covered how many years?
80.
4. Which moon, named after a fairy queen, is the largest to orbit Uranus?
Persephone.
Titania. Thomas Sheraton, who was born in Stockton-on-Tees in 1751, was famous for designing and making what?
A hotel.
Furniture. Which country defeated England by 15 points to 6 in the final to win the 2007 Rugby Union World Cup?
Australia.
South Africa. Which performer and escapologist, born Eric Weiss, took his stage name from a French magician who's considered the father of modern conjuring?
Houdini.
Yes, the sash of the Madonna on the Pietà in St. Peter's in Rome bears the only known surviving signature of which great artist?
Michelangelo.
Correct. What was the profession of James Kildare, created by the American pulp fiction writer Max Brand in the 1930s, who later became the leading character in a popular 1960s television series?
Doctor.
Yes. Who shared the 2007 Nobel Peace Prize and became the only person to win an Oscar and a Nobel Prize in the same year?
Al Gore.
Yes. Which celebrated British explorer was killed by natives in Hawaii on the 14th of February, 1779?
Scott.
Cook. Which muscle situated in the shoulder region takes its name from the Greek letter D?
Deltoid.
Yes. The card game known as solitaire in America is also known by which other name in Britain?
Patience.
Yes. In which animated television series set in the year 2068 did the main characters work for Spectrum, a world security network whose agents were named after colours?
Captain Scarlet.
Yes. Which group, originally fronted by a Scottish singer known as Fish, took their name from the title of a posthumous work by J.R.R. Tolkien?
Marillion.
Yes. On which Mediterranean island is Calvi, where Lord Nelson was blinded in his right eye?
Elba.
Corsica. The passionate love of Paolo, I'll finish the question, Malatesta and Francesca da Rimini was the inspiration for which sculpture by Rodin?
The Kiss.
The Kiss is correct. No passes. Peter, 27 points. And finally, William. Must be a bit of a busman's holiday, this for you, William, sitting there in a... I mean, you've done a few quizzes in your time, from the other side of the microphone.
Sitting where you're sitting, in fact, I used to stand.
Indeed.
I have subjected more than 30,000 people to this kind of terror.
30,000.
30,000.
That is quite a lot.
And all over the country tonight, they are looking at this programme saying, now, I wonder how he thinks it feels.
And how do you feel?
Terrified.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
But I mean, you're so familiar with this whole thing that it's...
I'm familiar with that side of it.
Did you get bored with it? Did you not get to the stage where you were crawling the walls?
No, I never once ever got bored with it. I mean, every programme was new, the questions were always new. I had the most fantastic team behind me, making sure that, you know, things went smoothly. And I really liked it, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Right, William, you have 16 points. The score to beat is 27. Here we go with the general knowledge. 2 minutes starting now. In which Spanish city did Figaro work as a barber, according to the title of Rossini's opera?
Pass.
In 1900, which writer's attributed and probably apocryphal last words were either "that wallpaper goes" or "I do"?
Oscar Wilde.
Yes, what's the name of the extensive isolated shoal in the North Sea that for centuries has been a well-known fishing ground?
Dogger Bank.
Yes, which Aboriginal term is used for a blind channel from a river and is also mentioned in Waltzing Matilda?
Swagman.
Billabong. Humphrey Bogart won his only Oscar for his role in which film when he played Charlie Allnut, the skipper of a riverboat?
African Queen.
Yes, which European country's flag consists of an off-centre yellow cross on a blue background?
Switzerland.
Sweden. Foul-mouthed Nan Taylor, Arga Woman and moody teenager Lauren are the creations of which comedian?
Catherine Tate.
Yes, which word derived from the Yiddish for ring or bracelet is used for a bread roll that's briefly dropped into boiling water and then baked?
Pass.
Which organisation was famously caricatured as a benign but lumbering cart horse by the political cartoonist David Lowe?
Parliament.
The TUC. In 1868, which inert gas was detected in the gaseous atmosphere surrounding the sun?
Helium.
Yes. Which Indian actress noted for her cookery programmes is often credited with having introduced James Ivory to Ismail Merchant?
Pass.
According to popular legend, what type of fruit tree is the youthful George Washington supposed to have chopped down?
Cherry tree.
Yes. The British architect Sir Edwin Lutyens drew up the plans for which Commonwealth capital city, including the Viceroy's house?
Delhi.
Yes. Michael Stipe is the lead singer of which American band founded in Georgia in the early 80s?
Stomp.
REM. The name of which pool in Jerusalem, where Jesus is said to have healed a man on the Sabbath, is sometimes used for a nonconformist church building?
Temple.
Bethesda. According to the well-known saying, the road to hell is paved with...
Good intentions.
Good intentions is right. You had 3 passes. Madhu Jaffrey was the Indian actress. It's a bagel you get if you do that thing with a bread roll. And Seville is where Figaro worked as a barber. 3 passes, William. 24 points.
Well done. Well done. Well done.
So, at the end of another close contest, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 19 points, Paul. Joint 2nd place with 24 points apiece, Dan and William. In 1st place with 27 points, Peter. Peter, come and receive this amazing honour. Congratulations. Beats an Oscar, yeah? I mean...
I'm thrilled. I'm just thrilled.
As you should be. As you should be. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to appear on Mastermind, you can write to the address that you can see on the screen now, or you can log on bbc.co.uk/Mastermind. Our regular series of Mastermind is on BBC Two. Thank you for watching Celebrity Mastermind. Good night.
Adrian Edmondson and Breakfast's Bill Turnbull take the plunge tomorrow at 7. What we really, really want next on BBC One, it's the story of the Spice Girls. And with everything you need to start 2008, except the nibbles, Scott Mills is getting Radio 1's New Year party started right now.